nice thing about it is you're let get away with these a little bit greedier position 5 heroes like the Phoenix or the Warlock, where they bring a lot of team fight, but they also need to get some levels and farm early on. And Earth Spirit, as much as he is a roamer, I feel like a lot of the time he doesn't end up really being the
Dire
position
team ban.
for the team, just because you don't really have to give him very much farm priority. A Blink Dagger, of course, is great to have, but beyond that, I feel like
LGD's turn to ban.
happy to ever get another last hit in the game. In terms of our other bans, we're also seeing pretty meta stuff, lots of position 4s being banned out. Train Protector is going to be ignored, but we will pause 4s picks, of course, with Clockwork also being
Dire
grabbed.
team ban.
That trend is going to continue, and Sand King and Nyx Assassin trendy position 4 banned out. Head into the ground, and LG getting rid of a silencer.
LGD's turn to pick.
Phoenix would be pretty annoying fight, as
Dire
they're going to
team
pick up
pick.
a Beastmaster. Absolutely no hesitation here. Good scouting. They've got some really good single target lockdown now with the Roar, the Boulder Smash, the Silence. They can drop the Sun Ray on top of all of that. Should be able to pretty much
10
fluff
seconds
anyone, but
remaining.
There's not a hero that we've been seeing a whole lot of recently. So I feel like
5 seconds remaining.
this might be part of some grand push strat from LGD. I don't know if
Reserve
they're going to be
time.
rounding this out with like a Drow Ranger, Drow Dusa, or a Drow Lina, something like that. I think Lina's still looking pretty good. Really good matchup against the Shadow Fiend. Does need to be a little bit careful of the Clockwork. You've got pretty long range. You can hang a long way back in the lane and do everything that you need. And they need to pick a very strong mid laner, because the Shadow Fiend is going to have the souls from the Clockwork. So Shadow Fiend going to be walking into lane with it, laning disadvantage that he normally has, pretty much, because the Shadow Fiend is going to have the souls from the Clockwork. So Shadow Fiend going to be walking in.
LGD's turn to pick.
Pretty much, because the Shadow Fiend is going to have the souls from. Rubik is going to be the grab. This, I mean, it's a decent Rubik game so far. Nothing amazing, but certainly a pretty decent all-round.
10 seconds remaining.
What else does it really give them? The lift is pretty nice for setting
5
up for
seconds
Clockwork.
remaining.
Early on, that's pretty good. Doesn't really fight 4s all that well, so that's a little bit of a problem, perhaps. LGD, alright. I was wondering if this hero was going to be popular, because the last time I was casting China Qualifiers, Epicenter and FDL, Pro Warlord was really trending, and I think it was China who are really picking him a lot. It looks like LGD pretty keen on that here as well.
10 seconds remaining.
I would guess that this probably means we are going to be seeing something like the Lina
5 seconds
TA
remaining.
as your mid pickup. I mean, they've got so many attack speed auras now. So
Reserve time.
something that benefits from that is definitely the go for the lane. They could, of course, run the troll mid if they wanted to, but I feel like that's not going to be very good against pumped up Shadow Fiend. Vici have played their cards pretty close to their chest so far to the drafts, just looking at their 2 supports early on, grabbing the Shadow Fiend. So they are going to have to show us a little bit more here what they're planning.
LGD's turn to ban.
SF win us the game strategy. They're going to repel him, they're going to give him the souls at the start, they might gank for him even with the Rubik. So very reliant on the Shadow Fiend. They're going to save that out pick.
10 seconds
not last
remaining.
pick overall, but second to last pick for their draft. And
5 seconds
what
remaining.
could they be worried about here? I don't know.
Dire team ban.
Could have been annoying. I mean, it's not. The Sniper Lone Druid has been very popular recently, so Phoenix at the very least wouldn't have had to worry about that. But Radiance Bear could certainly be annoying for them if LGD are going to be going for the kind of 5-man
10 seconds
orient
remaining.
pushing strategy. But it looks like they are going to get the benefit of seeing the last
5 seconds remaining.
they commit to their maybe. I think a decent amount of health here.
Reserve
They have the Earth Spirit ganking for him. The Phoenix can also get some health off. And it's going to be really important to try and pressure the Shadow Fiend early on. If they can kill him, then they can at least put a dent in those early souls. And that's going to be really helpful for them.
Dire team
And
pick.
standard stuff. Vici, they are reasonably well equipped to deal with Flyer Assassin here. I think the one problem with TA for the LGD side is that it means that they don't really have a whole lot of magical
10
damage coming
seconds
from their
remaining.
cores. Fortunately, their supports have magical damage in spades,
5
so that's
seconds
certainly
remaining.
good. They won't really get the option that diversified magical physical hero
Reserve
like
time.
the Lina or the Queen of Pain on mid. They could of course pick like Invoker, but Invoker are just going to get absolutely dominated this game by the SF, the Souls, and the Repel
10
is going
seconds
to be
remaining.
very annoying. It's kind of a damn do damn if you don't for
LGD's
LGD
turn to
here. If they pick a big magical core for mid, then there's the Repel. If they pick a big physical damage core, then there's of course the Guardian Angel. Vici. Just gonna go for an Ursa. The building damage more or less covered by the Shadow Fiend here. So
10
Ursa
seconds remaining.
looking pretty good. Of course, gives them some really nice tools
5
to be able to
seconds
deal
remaining.
with the Phoenix Egg. You can just repel Ursa, he pops the power, and just takes the egg down
Reserve
all by
time.
himself. It is going to be very important for LGD to get a roar off onto him, and of course the Omni Knight also going to be helpful in Ursa playing against the Earth Spirit. It can be a pretty thing for Ursa to play against Earth Spirit a lot of the time because the silence on anti grip prevents you from using your ultimate, and Ursa is very reliant on his ultimate for survivability. It really does not want to buy a Manta or a BKB in most situations, but with Omni he'll be able to avoid that, and LGD, they're a little bit of thinking, are just going to go for the Venomancer pick. So they got lots of tower damage, some really great push. They've got AoE teamfight now as well. Venomancer very likely to buy a Veil this game to buff up the Earth Spirit damage. The Phoenix Sunray was changed quite a while ago to be magical damage, but that's another big incentive for picking up Veil this game for him. And Venomancer, certainly a pretty strong laning hero, good at setting up ganks for the Earth Spirit or Phoenix, though the Plague Ward's not going to be as valuable against the SF as you might like. To have so much right-click damage to be able to deal with them. Venomancer likely to just go for the max. Yep, had to guess. Now we're going to get straight into it. It's Ti7 trying to qualifiers. This is our very first round. We've got 11 rounds of action coming your way today. I'm going to be covering the first, and then Hades is going to be taking over. I believe he'll be on his stream for the last 5 here on column A, and I believe we have. I'm just trying to remember who's actually Barrett off the top of my head, but all right. Player with the first triple
Prepare
kill.
for battle.
I'm gonna go with tower kill. That's actually a tough one. The Venomancer's tower is going to be relatively difficult to take, so I'm actually gonna say LGD. Observer Ward, this must be the team that wins. Yeah, I feel like I favor LGD a little bit overall as a team, but Vici Gaming's draft seems really solid. Maybe I'm underestimating the AoE teamfight potential for LGD. And as I say that, we've already got some action. Yang wanted to come forward and try and put that in Observer Ward. He did get the ward down, but scaled up, gonna skill the repel, escape, but he's still being slowed down. Can't actually dispel the gale and dive through from Meow. The poor man's shield is doing so much work. Unfortunately, he will still be brought down. I don't even know if the repel was very helpful there. Maybe he was hoping it would block the Icarus dive, or maybe he thought it could dispel the Venomous scale. Nope, as you can see, strong dispels only, and LGD will be able to pick themselves up a nice Earth. Have the SF charging up his souls. Nicely, you can agree pretty much every time. Okay, I'm gonna go with LGD for smoke gank. This thing is always super low, kind of buggy. Let's do that, and let's get ourselves into it. Shadow Fiend going to be starting off with 14 denies, so we'll have to remember to not pay too much attention to the deny situation for him. It is actually going to be the Warlord heading towards mid as opposed to the Venomancer. I really thought that they were going to send the Veno over there, but
Gold and sweet.
looks like they would prefer to have him matched up against the Omni Knight, so we'll see how poor Troll Warlord does against the Shadow Fiend. We got 53 base damage on one side, and a whopping almost 90 damage on the Shadow Fiend, and Ori going to get the superior block, so we'll see if this is going to be a game that the Shadow Fiend is able to just take over all by himself, and of course with some assistance. Your Vici Gaming back in the saddle after Chinese retirement. I don't even know if he officially retired, might have just been taking a hiatus.
All wands will
Trouble, pop the repel here so it doesn't take from the rolling boulder. He'll be able to make it back to his tower. Looks like he's going to be okay. Chuan He went for a pull, it looks like, but didn't get somewhat interrupted by this 4. Fortunately, for I do Amy in the area, so be able to get the creep wave back on track and Chuan quite in time to pull that 11. Still only level 1 right now, just being a little bit of a nuisance. The board can at the very least kite the Ursa around a little bit, but not really going to be doing very much damage against the prevention. You have a bit of action here on mid. Clockwork trying to zone out the Troll Warlord somewhat. Troll actually getting decent CS, but taking some right clicks from the SM. Still has his salve intact. Yang in some trouble, could just repel TP out at any time.
No
I don't think
sorceries
he's really
avail.
that concerned about this. LGD just trying to drive him away from the creep wave so that they can pull it back towards their tower. It is actually pushing pretty heavily right now, surprisingly. This is a lot of experience that the Venomancer hasn't gained yet, so big boost on his kill potential once he picks that up. Tonight, just chilling, gonna be checking out this 2-minute rune. It is gonna be an arcane, but snagged by Victoria. Early game still just kinda chill for the time being. Troll not doing nearly as badly on this mid lane as I anticipated. It's not like the Earth Spirit's been helping him at all. I guess maybe just own some of that prowess. I mean, a 5 CS discrepancy against the Shadow Fiend who has like a 30 damage lead on you is pretty impressive, I have to say. He does have the Quelling Blade picked up, so I guess that's also helping his case a decent amount. That's something that the Venomancer wouldn't have been able to do. I guess that actually makes quite a bit of sense that they choose to on the mid lane. Beastmaster looks like he's be jungling up a little bit himself. A little bit of a net worth lead in LGD's favor right now, as Omninet really struggling to get all that many CS. So as I say that, he's actually tied to the Beastmaster right now. Maybe some nice little aggro tricks here and there, dragging the creeps away from the Shadow Fiend so he can't actually get these denies. Shadow Fiend doesn't have, I mean, he doesn't even have capped out souls right now. He started with 14 and actually grabbed too many more PS after. He's gonna grab him just maybe still being big nuisance. Other than that, pretty chill ending stage so far. Omni, I don't know how well he's going to be able to hold on to the bottom tower, and it is a bit of a problem for the Vici gaming lineup right now that they don't have very much deep push. I mean, Rocket Flare from Clockwork is okay, Fade Bolt's pretty good, but not a whole lot of deep push coming in from their core heroes. This Venomancer push is going to be pretty annoying, and Clockwork finds himself a haste rune as Victoria has already used the roll in. Maybe he's going to try and cut him. Can Ori get around the cogs? Doesn't even need to. One last raise, finishing off the
Dire's
kill.
middle tower
Block does
is under
consider
attack.
chasing in a little bit further, but decides against it at the end of the day, and maybe will just salve himself back to good health. Quest here on the mid lane to keep on getting the CS, keep on farming. The nice thing about having the Troll Warlord mid is that he's never really going to leave the lane. It makes it pretty difficult for the Shadow Fiend to take the tower. You know, you talk about a hero like Alina or Queen of Pain, might be looking to rotate early on. The Shadow Fiend can definitely take your tower at that point, but Troll was happy to just sit here and hit creep, so it's not a big deal. Vici, they are going for a little bit of a smoke here. Making their way over towards mid. Maybe his reign of terror on this mid lane might be short-lived, but he does have a little bit of backup himself. I don't know if the Dire team are aware of this. Might be Sunray coming in, or he's taking some damage, going to turn around, just try and check out the race. He's still burning here, but Sunray is going to end up running out. He's running up onto the high ground. Turning down for some auto attacks, a little on mana, as we will have no kills here on mid. Yang even rotating over to get involved. But just going to be a 4-man shrine. It looks like Vici Gaming are going to be A-okay. I think that there was actually Dire Ops up here on the hill, but maybe not spotting the supports just around the corner, so to get another Observer Ward down. Radiant not planting an obs of their own just yet. And while the supports were away, it does grab a little bit more experience, but as mentioned, he did rotate over to the mid lane to get involved as well. 11 just kind of chilling up top. He's going to be going for a Dominator here, it looks like. Not a insanely common pickup nowadays, but certainly some good sustain for his team. Beastmaster doesn't really have the mana pool to be able to sustain a mech. As much as a mech would be pretty nice, so I think the Dominator is kind of the next best thing for sustaining your team with the HP regen aura. And it's going to give them, I think, are going to have insane Roshan potential. Troll Warlord by himself with the Vlad can solo it, but then you talk about adding the Beastmaster aura and the Dominator aura on top, and that should be a very fast Rosh. And stealing the Rosh away from Vici is actually going to be pretty important for LGD's overall game plan. Both Ursa and Troll very reliant on the Aegis to be able to play their game and go into team fights without having a BKB. So, whichever team manages to grab this Rosh, I think they're looking pretty good in terms of the overall game plan. Clockwork still doing decently. I mean, no courier sniper or anything from him. Hasn't really set up all that much. 11, a little bit low, but I mean, Beastmaster's actually pretty sick against support Clockwork. Slow him down, never closes the gap. You've always got summons to be able to soak some of the battery assault, so very difficult for him to put too much damage onto you. And 11 does have his level 6 up now, so might be picking up a smoke before too long and looking to make some kind of a gank somewhere. I would guess that Victoria or Yao probably has a smoke right now. Alright, smoke gonna be cooked over into the backpack. We'll see if there's any visibility on the smoke gank, however, from Vici Gaming. But the smoke pops, they see the Beastmaster disappear for a second and some pings come out. Looks like they might know that this one is going on, but they're going to just be looking for how. Got decent damage from the level 2 Sunray, so 11 looking for that, but not the best coordinated gank, and it looks like it might not be successful from LGD. Really nice little ward placement. But they are not going to spot this ward being planted over on the high ground, so it looks like that one's at least going to stick around a little bit longer. You have Shadow Fiend rotating over into the jungle, just farming up. He is going to be going for a Shadow Blade this game. It is very important that they find successful pickoffs because, again, the team fight from LGD is in. So I don't know if they really want to take a 5-on-5. Or it's not even that their team fight is that crazy, it's just that their team fight is much better than Vici. Clockwork and Rubik, pretty single target supports. At least as far as supports go, whereas Phoenix and Earth Spirit have to be some of the most premium AoE team fight supports in the entire game. Omni Knight still just working his way towards some arcanes right now. This tower is being constantly pressured by aim on the Venomancer. It's going to be going back for a Midas after picking up his phase boots. So he's taking a pretty controlled approach to the game here. As Chuan and Ori are on a big rotation. This isn't all that suspicious because they do probably think that the Shadow Fiend is just over in the jungle. They do have a little bit of information from their ward, not from their ward, but from their hawk. They know that there's nobody farming over there, but looks like in the end they'll just be happy to take the courier kill themselves out.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Sorry guys, this is not my home setup, so if there's any
Dire's
problems,
top tower
my best
is under attack. Dire's structures are fortified.
Okay. I'll see what I can do troubleshooting wise in between games. I might be just tugging on something here, so I'll try and avoid doing anything to cause the mic to freak out. Alright. LGD still just playing this early game, relatively chill, getting decent farm, though the Ursa and the SF both getting pretty big. Both going to be picking up their items relatively soon. Got the Ursa with his blink in just a second. Shadow Fiend still a little ways away from his Shadow Blade as this LGD push does start mobilizing up to the top side of the map. The other big reason that the Beastmaster is going for the Dominator is probably because the Troll Warlord is going for the Blood. No, it actually looks like maybe he's going to be going for Massive Madness.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Like maybe no Vlads on the team
is under
just
attack.
yet. Like a little double damage up, and I'm actually going to miss the kill down bottom as Aim and Victoria will be able to come in, kill off Chuan.
Radiant structures are fortified. Dire's top tower has fallen.
Well, Shadow Fiend looking to make this into a little bit of a trade. Victoria is going to rotate in and slow him down somewhat.
Radiant's
Be able to
middle
force down the
tower
tower
has
with a little bit of help from the cart. Beastmaster is going to be stealing a siege creep of his own, as it looks like LGD are actually going to try and continue this push over on the top side of the map. They're going to have a jump in from Amy, looking to focus on the Beastmaster. He's relatively tanky, but they've also got the Earth jump in with that Tiger. Maybe going to try for the TP out. Clockwork not chasing into the trees. Looks like Yao should also be able to escape, but they will be able to put an end to this push, keeping a tier 2 tower at 100% HP, while Chuan just soaking up his level 6 and trying to grab his arcane boots down on the bottom side of the map. Not a whole lot that this guy can do. Not a whole lot that the hero can do without arcanes. Definitely important that they get multiple sets of arcanes on their team. Ursa benefiting a lot from having arcane boots somewhere in the lineup. Really needs it. Doesn't really build in mana regen. And Shadow Fiend's not going to be, you know, he's not going to be unhappy about a little bit of extra mana. Looks like he does have his Shadow Blade in second, choosing not to buy any of the components so as not to give away the fact that he's going for the Shadow Blade. Should be able to get him a free kill at some point as he picks it up. Phoenix does it with the level 6, so they've got the Supernova ready to rock and roll. Answer has finished up his fight. Is still chilling down here on the bottom side of the map, not really getting involved. Not necessarily that surprising, but Venomancer is normally a pretty active. Be nice to see getting involved sooner rather than later, but LG's just kind of waiting for their timings at the moment as well. Vici, what? A pick off and Roshan would be pretty nice for them. Now still sitting on a salve. Here we go. This is the big SF Shadow Blade gank. You find maybe just around the corner farming here. One shot is available. They're gonna hook on in. There's the cogs. Throw in a couple of raises for good measure. That'll be the end of that. Phoenix getting jumped on here. Yeah, will be able to just dive himself away. To be a-okay. Vici, is this fast Roshan? It is certainly a fast Rosh. Not a ton of sustain here, but they do at least have the Omni Knight purification to keep everybody topped up. The Venomancer making his grand appearance, but the Plague Woods will be stolen by the Rubik, so plenty of vision around the pit for both sides. The Hawk reigns supreme. It looks like Vici will be forced back. Both teams kind of flexing everything they've got over at the pit. Again, this Roshan is such an important thing. Whichever one claims it is going to have a huge window to kind of do whatever they want.
Under attack.
They have really good Aegis carriers as well this game between the Warlords and the Earth. No, maybe even give it over to the Shadow Fiend. Alright, Ald 11 up to his old tricks again. Going to be dominating up another siege creep. No, this is a dire siege creep.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
There's siege creep push going up over on top.
Attack.
Well, Venomancer are just going to be working towards a fourth staff. This is a very nice item to have, especially against the Clockwork. Knight also going to be going for a Midas here, so a little bit of Midas gaming on both sides. Doesn't really need that much more immediately after grabbing the arcanes. Definitely a very nice game to pick up a match for him. It's going to be very important to play against the Earth Spirit, but I don't think he can probably get away with it. It's going to help them max out the power a little bit earlier.
Radiant
this is even
structures are fortified.
For the Guardians.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Shadow Fiend going to be taking out this one down at bottom. Meanwhile, over on the top side of the Rubik, trouble to dodge the Boulder Smash. Swan now going to be chasing forward. And he's not going to be able to tog in Victoria. But How is here with more than enough firepower to be able to bring down the Earth Spirit. As LGD is going to pop the Troll ulti, and here it is, mid to tier 1.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
Absolutely shredded. The top tier 2 is also taking a decent amount of damage, and LGD go back to farming for the time being. Some decent warding around the place for the Dire, but a lot focused around the mid lane right now. I think they probably planted this ward and they're planning on going for the push just to cover this rotation over towards the pit, but LGD kind of all approached from the shrine, and Hawk played for it. Definitely very annoying to play against. They are going to be trying to run over towards 11 here, and just to scout the rotation with his Hawk, so he's going to be okay. Ursa is just straight rushing an Aghanim center. Pretty helpful against the Thor. Nice to be able to use the Enrage a little bit more frequently, but this is not a super common build. Seeing from how lots of people picking up Vlad through Deso, Diffusal Blades become very popular.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Yeah.
Players here.
Still just kind of farming for the time being, honestly. The Warlord very keen to finish up the Shadow Blade. They got the Force Staff finish from the Venomancer, but this push has kind of stalled out a little bit, which I'm surprised at. They've got this really nice AoE team fight up. They're gonna look for the one shot here. Yeah, he's gonna get it. Needs one more auto attack to finish the job, but the Shadow Blade already paying off pretty nicely with 1 kill on the Troll Warlord and 1 kill on the Phoenix. But yeah, they haven't really used their AoE team fight just yet. Poison Nova kind of unused so far. There is no Veil being picked up just yet by the Venom. He's actually going to be working his way towards a Heaven's Hat. Maybe one of the supports can go for a Veil a little later on, but looks like Phoenix also has his sights set on a Midas. I don't think what the hell?
Time.
It happened 5 minutes ago, I suppose. That's the issue with it. Anyway, I'll troubleshoot in between games, guys. I don't think about it too much here. Alright, so we got the full pick-off build for maybe at this point. He's got the Shadow Blade picked up. Get that delivered to himself right now. How? Still working on Aghanim Scepter. We've got the Midas picked up. 18 minutes into the game for the Omni Knight, so his acceleration starts now. Clockwork, I mean, just going to be working on a Force Staff, not a whole lot of farm, really be grabbed after that. The Dire Scan is actually going to detect this rotation from LGD, but I'm just heading straight into the pit. I do have the double damage waiting for them, so pretty decent opportunity. The Rocket Flare, scouting things out. They don't have the Ursa over here just yet, but does have a TP. Are they going to get over here in time? The Clockwork line this up, finds a good angle. Warlord's gonna come running out looking for the pickoff. They've got the flare, but they're gonna see that the pit is empty. They spot Al, and they actually burst him down. The Enrage comes out, but it's only defensively used, and the Clockwork will just sacrifice his life. Pro Warlord munches him up. He is now out of mana, but posturing around the Roshan pit. Unfortunately for Vici, they have lost their scouting heroes here in the Clockwork, so they won't really be able to get any vision over into the pit, and LGD is zoning things nicely with the Plague Lords. They've got the Hawk vision as well. Looks like Vici Gaming will just be giving away this Roshan. It's going to be the Aegis picked up by the Troll Warlord. He can play much more aggressively now running into these fights. It's still a net worth and experience in favor of Vici Gaming for the time being, but GD definitely starting to get this turned around a little bit. Shadow Fiend's going to be going straight into a Butterfly as the item selection. I mean, certainly going to be helpful against the Troll Warlord, but I feel like the rest of LGD are actually pretty heavy on the magic
tower is under attack.
And I guess that's the one thing that LGD did successfully, is they managed to actually pick a hero that gave them a mix of magical and physical. Swap was banned, Delina was banned, but by swapping Troll Warlord to mid and picking up but they still kind of got a pretty nice damage hero there. They're going to try for the Requiem combo down here at bottom, but maybe survives the lift actually a little bit too long of a duration, and they don't quite get the combo perfectly off to the other side. The Earth's going to get stunned up. Now Silence as well, though. As they will look over towards the Venomancer. He's not actually all that healthy and won't be able to get back to the shrine. Nice target selection. The Clockwork is now Omni Knight going to get stunned up. They are getting some decent damage out. One more purification, helping to stay alive for another couple of seconds, but it's just a work for one so far. Pro Warlord has lost the Aegis, but now chasing forward onto Twan. He'll just be able to summon up one last core before he dies. Shadow Fiend going to go find a little hidey hole for the trees and Ori able to TP out. So kind of a 2 for 2 overall with the Troll Warlord losing his Aegis kind of early on. Just the off lane, the support going down on the Vici side. So definitely a good fight for them. Though it's actually going to end up being slightly better on the gold than the experience for LGD, just because they don't get anything, they don't get any money or XP for that triple world kill. Nice for Vici to come take a fight over on the opposite side of the map, because it means that they're not that exposed to losing their buildings right away. You look at this, and LGD are only just reaching this tier 1 tower now as all the Vici Gaming are respawning. So I think that's definitely the right decision to be making. If Vici Gaming at this point of the game, you have to be fighting on the enemy side of the map. So if they ever win a fight on your side of the map, you're going to lose two towers, or even just the whole lane of racks in one fell swoop. Vici playing together somewhat. They aren't very reliant on cooldowns, so good opportunity for them to go and make things happen. Only a small window as Supernova and the Magnetize look going to be coming up relatively soon. Maybe just going to be working on a BKB now that he doesn't have the Aegis anymore. It looks like we will have some action down here. The boar is getting in the way, but Flipper should be able to line up a hook shot. Actually, find out the Beastmaster traps him inside the cogs. He'll be able to force that out, but gets lifted up now by Chuan. He will be able to feel the roar. The roar actually coming out onto the upward how. Now arrives on the team. We'll be able to finish off that kill. Over at mid lane, it's Earth Spirit just pushing some of his illusions, but Vici gave him 5 man to go. Looks like the Heaven's Halberd is completed on the Venomancer, but not really into this defenses at all. No Plague Board spam, just kind of continuing to farm for the time being. Similar situation for Maybe, who is also not making an appearance at bottom just yet. Cataphy just tearing this tower to shreds. Coming in, can't exactly see who it is. It is the Venomancer arriving. Can you get the tower tonight? Not be able to. Maybe he was hoping to find a pick off on the mid lane. Not enough pressure on the lane to force somebody from Vici to rotate back. And it's just gonna be chilling out. Looks like we do have a Solar Crest for the Omni Knight. It's giving back for that mech that I talked about. The Greaves still very, very helpful this game, but Solar Crest certainly very good with all the physical damage they got from there. And the Shadow Fiend. And really good for survivability. I'm still surprised that SF is... Yeah, okay. I didn't think Butterfly was a 100% ideal choice. Or just going to be going for an S and Y first. And then maybe into like an MKB, something along those lines. MKB Satanic is good. Gotti sounds pretty good. I think the Butterfly is just a little bit of a weird choice. They are going to come around the corner here. Venomancer should be able to get off a big ultimate. They lift him. Can they push? That's the question. He's got the halberd now. So he survives a little bit while he gets to disarm off. We'll be able to make it part of the high ground. They've got the ultimate out of the shoes. Now he's being repelled up. He's not taking the damage. Troll Warlord will be got to the side of this fight. But what can he really get done? Looks like he will be able to bring down the Clockwork with the cogs and put them up. The Omni Knight ultimate coming in. They've also got the Phoenix Supernova completely uncontested. They're trapped by the Shrine. Won't be able to escape. That's 3 taps on either side so far, as Vici will be able to make it 3-1 support and the carry on either team surviving at the end of the day. I think that was maybe a slightly, no, not slightly LGD favor. Pretty much dead even in terms of the metric.
That should help.
But goes to show that 1, the Venomancer is getting more survivable with the item selection, and 2, LGD, their team fight is pretty scary. I mean, this is still only the level 1 Supernova so far. Not the most amazing situation. Doesn't scale that hard, but still a little bit worrisome, I think. They can still, of course, pick up a BKB on the Shadow Fiend. I mean, only one of them can get repelled, so yeah, important that somebody goes for a BKB. It looks like Hao is going to be the one to make the call, make the sacrifice to pick up the BKB for his team. LGD here. What else have we got picked up? The Solar Crest on the Beastmaster, also going to be going for a Heaven's Halberd. Each kind of one-dimensional in terms of their damage profile. Just the right clicks. I mean, Shadow Fiend, of course, that's some magical. I think it makes sense for LGD just by mass Stats, mass Halberds, mass evasion, mass Scepters. Should be able to make I feel like Vici directed ones on the timer right now. And extend things with successful Roshan and whatnot, but there's definitely a time period where they're pretty strong and take fights. If it goes too late, then there's going to be a super for every fight. And that's tough. Venomancer just going to be going for a Hurricane Pike up next. got here. Head forward, they're looking for a pick-off. Little do they know that the Shadow Fiend's right here as well. They get the sound punch. Can they repel him out of this? Looks like they will be able to. He gets off the enrage. Troll Warlord somewhat isolated. Will action stunned up by the stolen Primal Roar from the Rubik. Amazing play from Chuan. Looks like Clockwork also in some trouble, but I don't think he minds losing his life since his team is winning this fight right now. Doesn't have any further catch. It looks like they won't be able to get any more kills, but Vici, nice little bit of play there. They all happen to be in the neighborhood. They saved the Ursa, fell off the Troll Warlord, wasting his... What BKB duration was that from him? That was his 10-second BKB.
Healing shot.
He just had his face melted off by the Ursa. LGD, not the rotation that they were hoping for there. Alright, Phoenix is pulling his way in and TPing out there, but Sean will not be able to find it. A little bit of high ground farming going on here from A, just soaking up whatever farm they can. It farmed out the majority of the safe parts of their jungle. Looks like Yao is going to be the one to come over and finish it off. Still working on finishing 28-minute, probably, what, 1-minute Hand of Midas at this stage. Definitely a hero that benefits a lot from the levels. He has gone for the EXP gain talent as well, so should be able to get into his talent pretty quickly. And Phoenix does have some pretty sick talent. The 65 DPS is pretty good. Spell Amp with the Sunray also pretty sick. Looking good, and I didn't think that LGD were really going to be able to protect the Supernova that well, but with two Heavens Halberd, I think they're actually going to have a lot to say about the survivability of Yao in this game. Maybe just going for a Diffusal Blade here, maybe anticipating some Ghost Scepters from the enemy team. Also just a good damage item in general on agility heroes, so not a big surprise there. But Centaur Conqueror dominated up at the moment for the LGD side. I think she would mind taking that bonus gold, but what are they up to? We're almost going to get the BKB on the Ursa. Shadow Fiend is still going to be going back for the Butterfly here after completing up his SNY, so it looks like he's going to be the primary repel target for the most part. Shooting by this Hawk right now. Got some vision on the LGD side as to what Vici are up to.
Boom! There it goes!
Vici just continuing to kind of farm as a team. Net worth pretty much dead even, experience also dead even right now. He also biding their time. What other items are they close to? Spirit not too far away. I think certainly a big pickup for him. Mansuit is going for a Lincoln Spear. What's that really for? Rubik stuff? There aren't actually that many abilities that Lincoln blocks this game. LGD getting scouted after by the Rocket Flare. Clockwork trying to find the angle. Victoria trying to block things, but does actually manage to jump in. And they actually get this kill, but they've lost the Rubik. He also jumps in the middle of this fight. The Aegis is being claimed by maybe the Chiefs on the deck. Ori unable to contest the pit either now. Also sent scattering. They don't actually have the team fight to be able to commit into this fight, and this could be trouble. Shadow Fiend getting slowed down. The Venomancer closing the gap, maybe also here. Going to be looking for a patch. Can they get a Bolt Smash? Able to catch him. And that's the Shadow Fiend brought down. Omni Knight nowhere to be found in that fight, actually just retreating back into the base, but difficult for him to play around since he has no positioning item. Got no Guardian Greaves. He's got no way to get rid of the silence if it lands on him. If that happens, he's just going to straight and lose the team fight. So.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Forward onto the tier 2. We're going to see just a faster lineup can push. We got the Troll Warlord coming in now with a double damage turn. And that might actually be enough to force the buyback out of the Shadow Fiend. There is still a glyph available for Vici, so that might be enough for them to hold. They've got the cogs as well. Back just a little bit.
Dire's structures are fortified.
There's the glyph used. Vici, what else they got to hold on to this here? We got a whole bunch of boars and the sea creep looking away. They're gonna jump in and try to burst down the troll wall because they should be able to get his Aegis here at the very least. Sunray helping out a little bit. The supernova still on cooldown for 30 seconds time, so Vici might be able to go back in here. Nice staff gonna help out maybe as he makes his escape.
Healing and harm.
LGD. Alright. We get repelled. They did manage to get some very good damage onto those tier 3 towers, so they'll be paving the way for the shrines a little bit later on. Venomancer just about to grab his level 20, so more than likely just going to get the plus 75 damage as he's also working on an AC right now. And that's, I guess, the problem with the Vici lineup is it's actually super easy for LGD to itemize against them, because the only real problematic damage sources are the Ursa and the Shadow Fiend, and that's all
Dire's
around.
bottom tower is under attack. Dire's
Vici realizing they
structures
can't
are
let them get to their
fortified.
base once again, are going to come out, poking around, helps them avoid the Hawk as they will make a big wraparound play through the river. Up behind here, could burst the Phoenix and the Earth Spirit, that would be huge. They're big parts of the team fight, but they're both relatively squishy. They come around the corner. Clockwork should be able to flare. Just got as he actually jumps in, finds the Beastmaster, actually jumping onto one more as well. The Beastmaster forces himself out, should be able to get off the roar. Can they focus onto the Supernova? They won't be able to do a damn thing about it. Maybe just bashing everybody into oblivion. Ursa doing his best with the enrage, but just getting chainsawn forever. So they still have a Heaven's Halberd. The Cog's actually going to push him back. Top to G, still surviving. How's going to end up being truck spawn, buying back and TPing in onto the shrine, but it looks like the Clockwork will end up losing his down victorious. Still both pretty healthy, and with that, Vici Gaming will end up losing 3. Yang getting chased down. They've got the defusal plate for him as well, though it does manage to repel and run for the hills, but with neither of his Fish Floors alive, the Omninent surviving doesn't really matter, and now LGD should be able to finally break their way up on this high ground. Maybe even making the smart decision, gonna push away mid bottom, and then heading over towards mid to finish off this low health tier 3. As it looks like this should be probably too late in the brag. There is a buyback available for the Shadow Fiend, but with no buyback on Ursa, Vici Gaming looking like might just be the end for them. It is of course only the beginning of the Ti7 China qualifiers, and I feel like LGD are definitely one of the favorites in terms of the region. More than likely going to be taking that #1 spot and advancing straight through to Seattle, but I think that they had a reasonably good draft this game. Just LGD had a better team fight, a better read on the overall situation, and as much as their lineup could have pushed really aggressively if they'd wanted to, I was just realizing that if this went late, they also kind of win by default. Venomancer not a bad late game here. The Troll Warlord actually matching up pretty nicely against the Shadow Fiend and the Ursa. And this is all without a Silver Edge. If you add a Silver Edge in here, Troll Warlord can man-fight Ursa no problem. He's already on that previous fight. Now he's fought back previously. Here's the Sunray. He's going to finish him off. Clockwork also going to be brought now jumping in. He pops the BKB. They're trying to focus onto the Beast Monster, but there's just way too much evasion. Can they actually kill off the Supernova? It looks like this time around they will be successful. They focus on the Venomancer. He just managed to get his ultimate off. Not enough mana for the Hex on aim. So it looks like he might be brought down. Actually managing to force that a little bit further away. Ult 11. Just gets auto attack down, but maybe stand strong in the middle of this fight. They've lost 4 so far. Vici in big trouble. Yang trying to make his escape, but looks like he will not be so lucky. And Victoria with one last shoulder smash, the auto attacks from maybe. They pick up the triple kill, and looks like they should be able to head into the base and pick up these remaining lanes of racks. You could even go and go for the shrine if you wanted to. They do have to push the streak wave in, but at this point, 18k net worth lead, 18k plus experience lead in LGD's favor, and Vici like to kind of run out of gas.
Sees fit to restore me.
Their lineup just collapses during the team fight. Alright, maybe forces it at the 2 buyback. Okay, so if they killed Shadow Fiend at this point, that's game. Scotty picked up on the troll, so he's becoming pretty inescapable. This might even be a game where you consider going for the whirling axis cooldown for the magic resist. The magic resist is normally so good, but it's not that much magical damage to actually block this. Whirling axis spam more missed chances is the way to go. Does Ursa actually have his monkey bar? No. Dear God, no, he does not have his monkey bar. I think so. Yeah, they're still working on his butterfly, but I don't even know if that's going to help him survive this situation. And they just can't attack anything. You look at these item decisions. Got 3 Heaven's Halberds, a Solar Crest, and oh wait, does he still have the Solar Crest? No, he disassembled the Solar Crest for the Halberd. But yeah, 3 Heaven's Halberds, and then you throw the Troll chance on top of everything else. And Vici just can't hit anybody. Playing a right-click hero in this patch is so difficult. And that's, I think, definitely a big part of the rise of Venomancer. Venomancer just doesn't care if he's disarmed. You can still cast your spells, you can still put down Plague Wards. Still very, very valuable, even if you're facing up against all this evasion. And
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Do it with flair.
here we go. Last lane of racks. Vici Gaming. Do or die time for them. Of course, like I've said, they do still have the whole qualifier ahead of them, but notching a win against LGD could be a very big deal, though. Things looking a little bit grim at this point. GD's waiting for the... Just going to be waiting out for the Roshan right now. Venomancer also going to be picking up a Scotty. I wonder if he just gets the Poison Sting slow as well. As if they didn't have enough to kite the Ursa at this point. Poison Sting slow would be very, very annoying.
Boom! There it goes.
They're just chilling right now. LGD are farming double damages and Roshan. I guess that's just the problem for Vici, is that the lanes went decently, but then they couldn't get the first Roche, so they couldn't really keep the momentum going. They weren't ever really able to take a 5-on-5 team fight with their lineup. And the Shadow Fiend just kind of got run at. But as much as the idea is that he's supposed to be big and strong and really fun for winning his lane, I guess that was the other thing, is that the Troll Warlord actually did pretty well in that 1v1 match. I was not anticipating that Troll Warlord would only be a handful of CS behind the Shadow Fiend, who had max souls from the very beginning, but Quelling Blade, 4-man shield proving to be very helpful for maybe and while they let the Venomancer do his thing. Bottom. Veno is going to be going back to that AC soon. I didn't even mention the Hex in the context of making life miserable for the Shadow Fiend and how not even bothering to try for the MKB anymore, just going for a Basher at this stage. Tron just trying to put vision down, but he's been scattered out by a Radiant Ward. Does force that himself a little bit, but the Magnemite splitting around. They've also got the Hex over under the Ursa. He pops the BKB, trying to make a run towards Still has the enrage, but he just can't go anywhere. The Scotty's flow is so quick. They're going to drop the Roar on him as well. The Supernova is inside of the base, and they just can't focus it down. Yang's going to pop his ultimate, but it's all for naught. They will be able to lift up Victoria and try and auto-attack him down, but he even survives to get one with the Golden Smash off. Maybe he's running rampant through the Dire base, so they are going to be able to bring down the Omni Knight. Quan is the sole survivor, and the GG will be called. LGD going to be taking their first win here in the Ti7 China Qualifier, and well, other predictions not quite right, but LGD were the there wasn't even a game prediction. Alright guys, thanks so much for watching. I'm going to go and see if I can fix some of the audio issues, so I'm going to mute the stream just for a little bit. Thanks so much for watching. Our next